So first, let's just start with the very basics. So turning on your smartboard is here in the bottom left of your board. And then you're going to take your HDMI cord, which hopefully is already plugged into your interactive board. If it's not, just ask a neighboring teacher if they know where the cords are or if they could, help you locate one. So then you're going to plug it into this adapter, which should have came with your MacBook. So you're just going to plug that in there. When I first plugged in, you see that it automatically went to a screen, right? So my screen currently is set to a split screen, but we're going to come out of this and I'm going to show you like from the beginning what all this should look like. So if your screen does not automatically pop up, then you will see a screen like this, although your board is plugged in. Okay, so we are going to double click on the HDMI that it is plugged into. The back of your board is labeled, so you should know which HDMI port it is in, but just in case it doesn't light up, you can still do that, okay? So now currently my screen is a split screen. So that means that in my settings, basically it's like a duo monitor. And so like when my mouse is here on my interactive board, it is not showing on my computer. Now I personally like that, but it can be a little confusing at first. So I am going to share this screen so that way you can see what I'm looking at exactly. Okay, so I'm going to open up my system preferences or my settings. And so now, hopefully, let me make sure. What you should see is, yes, is my system preferences here. Okay, so, and that's like the little gear at the bottom. It is called system settings. So now, if you want to make any kind of adjustments, that's what you can do here as far as like the way that your screen looks. Okay, so once you get to the system settings, if you click on displays on the left hand side of your screen, now you get to pick like what exactly how that looks. Mirror display makes whatever is on my computer screen appear on my interactive board. Okay, so mirror means that like exactly what I'm looking at is exactly what my audience sees. Extended, so if I want to go back to extended, I would click stop mirroring. Okay, and so now extended has some things on my interactive board, but it's not the same things that are on my computer. All right, so extended is kind of like a split screen. It would allow me to put one document on my interactive board while I still have my email pulled up or while I'm, doing something else. Or mirror allows my screen to look just like what's on the interactive board. Okay, and so again, I got there by just clicking on system settings, display, and then where it says use as, you would just make that adjustment there. Okay, so that is what we're going to look at for interactive. Whenever you plug in your board or your computer into your Newline board, sometimes the sound doesn't come from your Newline board and our computers just are not loud enough usually for a full classroom to hear. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of this as well. So if you go back into system settings and click on sound, once that loads, you will see, now this is only if you're plugged into your Newline board, but you will see that Newline here is highlighted in like a darker gray than everything else. So that means that if I were to play a video, that means that my volume would come out of my board. And then you will see right down here in this panel that you have a volume up or a volume down button as well. So that's how you can control your volume. Now, if whenever you plug into your Newline board, it's still only coming out of your MacBook, that is because your MacBook is probably what is like the darker gray. So that's an easy fix. Whenever you go into system settings, you click on sound, you just find Newline board and you double click, and that should move everything back over for you. The next thing that I want us to look at, if you click on, in the upper left-hand corner, if you click on Tupelo Schools and then click on ClassLink, this is basically like a large bookmark, if you will, for all things TPSD. And you see it's still popping up on my board back here. So we're going to look at two things in particular, one being SmartPass. And so whenever you come down to SmartPass, it's going to ask you to sign in. If you are not already signed into the system for some reason, Dr. Curry is always a great place to start with questions about login issues. All right, so it had my email. I just logged in. Now, if you are getting ready to create a pass for a student, first let me say that I always open SmartPass like from the very beginning, just because if the system goes down during a block, if you already have yours up, more than likely it'll still work. So if you're going to create a pass though, you're going to click create, and then you're going to start by typing in a student's name. And then you'll click that student's name and click continue if we're only making a pass for one student going to the, one particular location. Next, you would then click on your name. I normally just type mine in. And it is a little slow because I'm also doing a screen recording, so give it just a second. So you'll click on your name and then where they are going. So if they're just going to the bathroom, then you'll just click whatever building you're in, and then you can just start typing in bathroom and then select where it is, okay? And then you would press send pass. Now, the students also know how to do this for the most part, unless they're brand new. So I don't always make a student pass. I just have it pulled up so that way I can verify when they did. However, if the system is lagging and you don't want to lose any more class time by them waiting to start a pass, then you can always just go ahead and do it here as well. All right. Now, if you do it for them, make sure that you do end the pass whenever they return, or, if they do it themselves, they'll need to end the pass also. Okay, now, another thing that I wanted us to look at was class-wise. So still in this Two Play Schools bookmarks, which again, I got that from over here. Class-wise, if you click on class-wise and get logged in, it's a really cool feature that lets you see your students' computers. Now, I don't currently have any students in my room, so I don't know that we're going to be able to see any, but I just want to show you some things that you can do with class-wise. So if you want to be able to tell like what the students are working on, now this does not mean that you don't get up and monitor and walk around, but if you're just having to work from your computer also for a little bit and you just want to see what they're looking at, sometimes I have even put it in list view and put it on my board so that way while I'm walking around, no one else on the other side of the room can click off. So let's just look at first block, this 9 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to click on that class. These are all of my students that are in this class. Now I'm going to press start class and see if it'll let me do what I need to do. So you would just pick whatever time they would end your class. Okay, so obviously if it was first block, it would be 9:35, but I'm going to do 2:45. And so I can see what all these students are doing, even though they're in another classroom right now because they're on my roster, right? Some of them aren't showing up because most of these students have a fourth block sport, so that's why most of them are not showing up. All right, so I can go into a student's like full screen basically, and it'll load. I'm not going to show you exactly what she's working on because it's for another class, but it will load. You can also do list view as well, and so I can see all of the different tabs that student has open. You can go through and close tabs. Again, I'm not going to do that because they're in a different class. So that is class-wise. All right, it just lets you see what your students are working on. I think it's a really helpful tool